What's the worst thing your mom ever said to you? I spent most of my childhood dodging objects my mother threw at me and covering my ears while she screamed at me. I ran away when I was 16 and never looked back. I slept on friends' couches, worked at a diner, got my GED at the library, and figured anything was better than living with her. And it was. Back when I was little, she told me I ruined her body and her life in the same sentence like it was just a fact. She called me stupid, ugly, worthless, ungrateful. She told me no one would ever love me because I was impossible to love. She brought men home who looked at me in ways that made my skin crawl, and when I told her I was scared, she said I was being dramatic. So I left. I was 17 when I met Daniel. He was buzzing tables at the diner and I was waitressing. He had these big brown eyes and this goofy smile, and he made me laugh for the first time in I don't know how long. Our first conversation, he said, "I'm Daniel. I'm a recovering addict. I have $7 in my bank account, and I think you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. I figured I'd lead with the bad stuff so you know what you're getting into." I told him I grew up with a mother who made me feel worthless every day of my life. He nodded and said, "Cool, so we're both disasters. Want to split a grilled cheese after our shift?" That was it. That was how it started. He'd been clean for 11 months when we met, and he went to meetings every day, sometimes twice. He was honest about how hard it was, how he had to fight for it every single morning. He told me once, "Every day I wake up and my brain tells me I'm garbage and I should just give up. And every day I tell my brain to shut up because I have a grilled cheese to split with the prettiest girl in the world." We moved into a tiny apartment with a mattress on the floor, and I had never been so happy. When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified because we were 18, broke, and still figuring out how to be people. But Daniel grabbed my hands and said, "We're gonna be the parents we never had. This kid is gonna know every single day that they're loved. We're gonna break the cycle." We started planning the wedding, and it was nothing big, just the courthouse and dinner somewhere nice. He was going to wear his one good shirt, and I found a white dress at a thrift store for $12. 2 weeks before the wedding, Daniel relapsed after 14 months clean. I don't know what triggered it. He was dead before I even knew he'd used, because whatever he took was laced with something that killed him instantly. I had to identify his body while I was 5 months pregnant. I was 18 years old, completely alone, and the only person who ever made me feel like I deserved to be alive was gone. I gave birth 3 months later to a baby boy. I named him Daniel. He had his father's eyes, and when he looked at me, I swear he saw me the way his dad used to. I was still drowning in grief, but I loved that baby more than I ever knew I could love anything, and I promised him over and over that he would always know he was wanted. Then one morning I woke up and he wasn't breathing. He was 9 weeks old. The doctors called it SIDS, which stands for Sudden Infant Death Syndrome, and they said sometimes it just happens, and sometimes babies just die and nobody knows why. I don't remember much after that. I know I was hospitalized, and I know there were doctors and medications and someone asking me if I wanted to hurt myself. I know I said yes. When I got out, I had nowhere to go, so my mother picked me up from the hospital. I moved back into my childhood bedroom like the past 2 years had never happened. She was still the same cold and cruel person, disappointed in everything I did. I couldn't get out of bed for weeks, and she called me lazy. I cried, and she told me I was being dramatic. One afternoon, I was sitting at the kitchen table trying to eat something, and she sat down across from me with this look on her face. "You know," she said, "none of this would have happened if you hadn't run away. You'd have finished school, gotten a real job, met a normal man instead of some junkie who left you with nothing." I told her I didn't have a choice because living in this house was hell. She laughed. "Oh right, I forgot. I'm the worst mother ever." She leaned forward. "But at least I kept my child alive. Who's the worst mom now? I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe." She got up and walked away like she hadn't just said the worst thing anyone has ever said to me in my entire life. I'm still living here, and I'm saving money from the diner, trying to get enough for first and last month's rent somewhere far away. Some nights I dream about Daniel, and he tells me we're gonna break the cycle. I'm still trying to believe him.